You picked Teya Shoots. Teya was absent from the channel for a while and missed a few reviews. We put it up for a vote a while back to see what you guys wanted to see her shoot. These are the winners, as well as a couple that I kind of squoze in, hoping that she'll be generous enough to do it for us. Each of these is going to be an individual video. You'll get impressions, dry handling, some shots, and some afterthoughts. Coming up next on GBGuns.
You voted, and so here I am. What am I going to shoot?
This is the Radom Vis M1. It is the current Polish military service pistol. It was developed for that purpose. A small group of them was brought into the US. Red dot ready. Yeah, it's got a lanyard loop.
That explains that, the military contract. Okay.
On the tail, it's metal frame, double action, single action with decocker. And I changed the grips. It comes with two grips, one that's flatter, one that's got a rounder heel. The flat one just was uncomfortable for me, so I hope it's not going to be too big for you.
You said this has a safety also, or just double action, single action?
I believe it's just double action, single action.
Okay.
Now, traditionally with Teya's finger reach, her trigger reach, she's not been a fan of DASA when it's on double action because it's kind of a long reach for the trigger.
That's not bad. Whoop. I do it every time.
Just drop the mag, yeah.
And okay. The yes, I know my grip is wrong. I'm just playing with the trigger. That's not bad. The wall is very much at the end, but it's not a ton more poundage, if you will, to get it to push through. I like that a lot. As someone who wore a uniform for some time, I can appreciate some of the way it feels in my hand. Like it does make me have duty energy, if you will.
I felt the same way. It certainly feels like a service gun. And
though in the past I haven't enjoyed bicolored sights, these work well together. I think it's because they're fiber optic. When it's just the dot on front and rear, it can be kind of disorienting. I'm actually really looking forward to shooting this.
It does have a relatively high bore axis. You see how much of the pistol is above your hand.
Yeah.
However,
which is good. Right?
Well, people think that leads to enhanced recoil because there's more leverage of the shifting mass on your hand.
Okay.
That's also a heavier gun though, because it's metal frame. I think those two balance out. It'll be interesting to hear, because you shot the Radom 92 or the M9 in the Army. This is kind of a Polish equivalent. Double action, single action, metal frame service pistol.
With that higher bore axis, I'm going to feel it less in my wrist, where I can tend to get fatigued sometimes. I don't know. This will be fun. So for the Vis 100 M1, this very duty present gun, 10 rounds to see how my impressions of change, or might change, from what they are just holding it to how it functions. I will put the first rounds down with it in double action, because why not? When I look at this gun, I'm overwhelmed by these sights with how bright they are. And I'm going to make an effort to not, as I pull it to my eye, because
when we are shooting, it is mid-fall, I guess you could say, early fall.
Early, yeah.
In the Pacific Northwest, so we've got crazy sun angles. That's why there's brightness behind Teya, but we're in shadows because of the trees and the angle of the sun.
That's a heavy double action. Okay. Okay. That's not bad, actually, if my fingers were a little bit longer to do that. If I put in my head that I'm pissed off and I'm gonna shoot, no, that was too much. too much going on. It stresses me out. That's why I don't carry double action, single action. And it's something I've toyed a lot with in, you know, the last almost 5 years. When I try to put myself in a scenario that requires me to deploy a self-defense tool, there's too much. And so for me, that becomes a liability in my head. And then I get all wrapped around that. Things go south. However, compared to some other double action guns that I have shot, this one is very smooth. The amount of pressure to get it from go to mid to through the first stage through the second doesn't change. Sometimes when you get to that second wall, is it the second or the first?
Well, it's really just one wall. It kind of stacks up to, and then you get to a little bit of a wall in there.
Yeah, but typically you have to apply a little bit more pressure to break past that, and you don't with this. It's very consistent, though you can feel it. You don't have to apply any more to get past it.
Yeah, it rolls through.
Yes, and then your second shot isn't so quick that it becomes negligent. You can apply that second shot and land it safely. So I did appreciate that about this. In those first couple of rounds that I ran like that, I would want to do it again, just because I like the way this gun feels in my hand, and I think that I want to put just 10 more rounds through it, because I got so hung up on that I forgot to pay attention to some of the other things that I'd like to let you know about.
Do you want to stop and do that?
Yeah, please.
All right. 10 more rounds for Teya with the Vis 100 M1.
That's nice. I like that. I can reach it without having to use this hand, but if I were to, it's in a really good position to slide stop or slide release.
And all three controls are fully ambidextrous on this gun, which is a nice thing. The decocker is a little awkward, but you'd never decock in a rush anyways. You know, that's a administrative thing before holstering. So
a little bit of a lip, though,
yeah,
would come in handy, especially in a duty situation where you're doing everything safely. I could see, you know, making some awkward movement to get to that could be dangerous.
I appreciate, though, that unlike the M9, it's not in a spot where you're going to bump it while in a rush to rack the gun or something like that. Like, you have to want to decock this thing.
Do one more. Okay. So I'm paying attention to the trigger. Yeah, if you've made the decision to shoot and you're just pulling through, that is a beautiful double action. And the reset there is a little longer than what I'm obviously used to, and so I flinched a shot.
And that was another note I had on it, is the reset is longer, and so it was tough for me to shoot it quickly because it's more of a stroke. Yeah. But I think, especially with how that double action rolls, that they kind of intend for the pull through style shooting, not shooting.
Oh, couldn't try it out. But I did get, you know, more of an impression to share. While I like flat triggers, I appreciate that this is a curved trigger for a duty gun, because you need to be able to have control, and this allows for, or not control, but room for error, and a curved trigger allows you for that.
Plus, a flat trigger on a double action, single action ends up being angled way out there, and then it's hard for some people to reach. Yeah.
So I like this trigger. I like the grip in the hand. It fits well. I can see how, compared to some other guns that are used for duty positions, aren't appropriate for their entire crew, whereas this will fit, you know, your 5'3" women and your 6'4" men.
And this is the alternate grip that came in the box. I swapped it. The factory grip is a flatter heel, a straighter back, and it was uncomfortable for me, so I was curious if it was still going to work for your hands, because this curved one fit me better.
It does, and maybe that's because that's what we shoot normally. But the fact that it's a duty choice for that country, you said Poland, in that it comes with options for people to customize it so that it fits them better, I think is really great, because there's nothing worse than a gun that's meant for duty that doesn't have the interest of the innocent best in mind, in that it's controllable, it's learnable, it's accurate, and it's a really great gun. I really enjoyed this one.
Cool.